What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video here, we're going to be installing the BD Diesel 88 to 93 VE fuel pin and governor spring. So let's get at it. Alright, so when you open the box, this is what you got here. You got your install manual, you got yourself a nice sticker, sealing washer, and this little tube. So in this tube, there is the fuel pin, governor spring, jam nut, and a new O-ring. So let's come over to the pump and start there. I got this pump on the bench, but first thing you need to do is remove the fuel line. Then you're gonna take these 4 screws out, and then this whole AFC housing will just pop off. So we're gonna get ourselves a big old slotted screwdriver. And you see right here, this is the fuel pin. So this here is what we're gonna change. So swapping over the fuel pin is fairly straightforward. Here's the old one. It has these 2 flats for a 10mm wrench. And then the nut is also 10mm. So basically you put the wrench on the 2 flats on here and a wrench on the nut, unscrew it, and then put the new fuel pin in. Doesn't matter which way it goes, like which way it faces, because the diaphragm will spin. But you do have to make sure you put the diaphragm on the right way because it is directional. This side is flat for sealing against the top of the AFC. This side has a lip on it for sealing in this groove. Then once you have that installed, you don't want to crank it because it'll squish the diaphragm out. You just want to tighten it down a bit, and then you want to take the nylon washer that comes with the kit, put it in there, put it over the fuel pin like so. And then clean the surfaces up, and it goes down in. So the fuel pin has to face directly forward so that the throttle rod can ride on the fuel pin. If it's twisted, it won't work right. It has to be directly forward. To do that, you put it in, go like this, kind of spin it, stroke your throttle, and the pin will come out. And you'll feel like resistance. So if I go to turn it this way, it's going to jam the pin up. If I go to turn it this way, it's going to jam the pin up. So you want it right where it's loose, where it'll still move back and forth. Right like that. So now, as for this part, we're done. We can put our bolts back in. We're done with the AFC housing. To do the governor spring, we don't have to take the AFC housing off again. So there, that part is done. Now for the governor spring side. So now we got the fuel pin done, and now for the governor spring, you have to remove the throttle linkage here. So it's an 8mm Allen. This is the first step in getting down to the throttle linkage. Taking the spring off. So you take the bolt out, just make sure nothing goes flying. You keep the washers that are underneath there. I'm just going to keep it all together like this. There's also a little steel washer down here. Keep that. So, before popping this bracket off, make note of where this slot is lined up with these marks. So, this one is lined up with the second slot right here. So, I'm going to put a little dab of paint marker on that one. So, it goes back in the exact same spot as where it came off. So, with that marked, can now remove the pump lever. Now there's a spring under there. So it will unspring, I guess you want to call it. There's also this, I don't know, washer spacer. That spring will come down or come off as well. And I'm just gonna put everything on the bench how it comes off. So next, you're gonna have to remove the tamper-proof caps on the main fuel screw and the idle screw. These caps are already gone. So, or the idle screws on this side here. These caps are already taken off, so don't have to worry about that. Next, you want to take a 13 mil deep socket and crack the jam nut loose for the main fuel screw. Then back it out until the O-ring is visible on the fuel screw. So right there is the O-ring. So now you want to stop. See right there, that's the O-ring. All the washers and everything stay on here. Leave that there. Then you want to remove the return or fuel return line, which I already did. Next, you want to remove the 4 Allens. So this one, this one, this one, and this one, so you can get the pump head off. All right, so once all 4 of those bolts are out, the housing can come off. So to do that, you gotta hold down on this shaft and push it through as you're lifting. Once you get it up far enough, you can stick your hand underneath, hold the shaft, take it the rest of the way off. Now this housing is sealed from a gasket, so you have to clean the surface here. And then also, there is an O-ring that is gonna go on here that you're gonna replace that comes in the kit. And this here, right there, that is the governor spring. So basically you unhook that, being careful not to drop that into the pump, and replace it with this one. But once you have a new O-ring on, lubricate it with some diesel fuel, put the housing back on, and bolt her back in. Push it in. There's a dowel on this back hole that you line up. Now you're gonna put the bolts in. I'm gonna put some Never Sees on them and start putting the other stuff back on. So there we go. Once you have the top housing back on, you got to make sure you line up the slot in the top of the throttle pin with the notches that were on the plate underneath. So that's back where it was. Then you want to install your screws again, put them to where they were. You can always adjust them after everything's all back together, because we're adding more fuel. Probably have to adjust the idle, maybe bring it down a little bit or something like that. But yeah, that's how she's done. Yeah, set all the screws back to where they were, throw her back in the truck. But again, probably gonna have to play with some stuff on there. So there we go, we got our fuel pin installed, governor spring in. So I believe these are 3,200 RPM springs. The truck right there is going to have 60-pound PDD springs installed, so it should be able to handle the RPM, no problem. Also getting fire rings done and ARP studs. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, found it informational, and helped you with installing the parts on your own truck. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.